The village of Merengar slept quietly under the silver light of the crescent moon. The fields swayed gently in the midnight breeze, and the faint sound of crickets echoed across the valley. But in the old Haveli at the edge of the village, all was not still. Iman, a 19-year-old girl with deep brown eyes and long black hair, tossed and turned in her bed. She felt as though someone was watching her. Her room was small, the cracked walls painted a dull white, and an old wooden cupboard stood in the corner. Yet tonight, even the familiar space felt strange, heavy, as if the air itself was alive. Iman? She froze. The voice was faint, almost like a whisper carried on the wind, but it was deep. Too deep to belong to anyone she knew. "Who's there?" she whispered back, clutching her blanket tightly. Silence. Her heart pounded in her chest. She forced herself to get up and peek out of the window. The courtyard outside was empty, the neem tree swaying lazily, but as she turned back, she saw it, a shadow that didn't belong. It was tall and lean, standing in the corner of her room. Two glowing amber eyes stared at her, unblinking. Iman's scream caught in her throat. She couldn't move. She couldn't speak. "Don't be afraid," the voice came again, echoing in her mind. "I won't harm you." "Who are you?" she managed to whisper. The figure stepped forward, and the faint moonlight revealed a face, sharp features, pale skin that seemed to glow faintly, and hair as dark as midnight. "I am Zariel," he said, "and I have watched you since the day you were born." Iman backed away until her back hit the wall. "What are you?" "A jinn," he said softly, "but not like the ones in your grandmother's stories. I am not here to curse you. Iman, I am here because I—" His voice trailed off, and something flickered in those glowing eyes, longing, pain, and something darker. "Because I love you." Iman's breath came in short, sharp gasps. The room felt smaller now, as though the walls were closing in on her. Zariel's presence was overwhelming. His tall figure radiated a strange energy that made her skin prickle. "You're lying," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Jinns don't fall in love with humans." Zariel tilted his head slightly, his glowing eyes never leaving her face. "That's what your people believe, but there are things about my kind that mortals will never understand." Iman clutched the silver pendant around her neck, the one her grandmother had given her with strict instructions. *, never take it off. "It will protect you." "Stay away from me," she said, trying to sound braver than she felt. "If you are really a jinn, then leave." But Zariel only took another step forward. The faint scent of burning sandalwood filled the room, and the air seemed to hum with power. "I can't leave," he said softly. "You don't understand, Iman. Since the day you were born, I was bound to you. You carry a mark, a destiny that ties your soul to the world of the unseen." "What are you talking about?" she demanded, her fear giving way to anger. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he raised a hand, and to her horror, a flicker of black flame danced across his palm. "Your grandmother knows," he said at last. "She tried to protect you, but she could not erase what was written in your fate." Iman's knees buckled, and she sank onto the bed. Her mind was racing. Was this real? Was she dreaming? "Why me?" she whispered. "Because you are not like others," Zariel murmured, kneeling before her now. His strange eyes softened. "Your soul, it shines in a way I cannot resist. I have watched over you all these years, fought others of my kind to keep you safe. And now, I can no longer stay in the shadows." Iman shook her head. "If you truly cared, you would leave. You'd let me live my life." He reached out as though to touch her face, but stopped an inch away. "If I leave, others will come, ones who are not bound by love, but by hunger." A shiver ran down her spine. "Iman," he said, his voice dropping to a whisper, "there is only one way to keep you safe. Bind yourself to me." Her eyes widened. "Bind myself? What does that mean?" "It means a pact," Zariel explained. "You and I joined. Your soul shielded by my power. No jinn, no spirit, no curse could harm you." Iman's heart pounded. "And if I refuse?" His glowing eyes darkened. "Then you will face them alone. And trust me, they are already watching." At that moment, the candle on her bedside table flickered violently before going out. The room plunged into darkness, and outside she thought she heard a low, inhuman growl. Time is running out, Zariel said, his voice low and urgent. Decide, Iman. Will you trust me, or take your chances with the darkness? The sun had barely risen when Iman sat cross-legged on the cold floor of her grandmother's room. The old woman, her silver hair tied neatly in a bun, moved prayer beads between her fingers, murmuring softly under her breath. Iman's heart still hadn't settled from last night. The voice, the glowing eyes, the way the candle had died on its own. Daddy, she whispered hesitantly. Her grandmother's chanting stopped. Slowly, she raised her head, her sharp brown eyes meeting Iman's. You saw him, didn't you? Iman's blood turned to ice. You know? The old woman closed her eyes and sighed deeply. I was afraid this day would come. She got up and went to a wooden trunk at the corner of the room, opening it with trembling hands. From it, she pulled out a yellowed piece of cloth wrapped around something small. What are you talking about? Iman demanded. Your mother didn't tell you because she wanted you to live a normal life, Daddy said, unwrapping the cloth to reveal an ancient-looking silver ring etched with strange markings. But the truth is, you were born with a nishan, a mark that attracts beings from the other realm. When you were a baby, I performed a binding ritual to keep them away. But that protection has weakened now. Iman's hands shook. And Zariel? The one who came last night, he said he was protecting me. Her grandmother's face hardened. Do not trust a jinn's words, child. They twist truth into lies. He may say he loves you, but his kind is selfish. They crave what they cannot have. Iman touched the silver pendant around her neck. What about this? You said it would protect me. It did for a time. Daddy looked worried now. But if Zariel has come this close, others will follow. If the ring of warding doesn't work anymore, there's only one thing left. What? You must never speak to him again. But even as her grandmother spoke the words, Iman felt a strange heat spreading through her chest, a tug in her heart as though someone were calling her name. That night, the house was silent except for the sound of the wind rustling the neem tree outside. Iman sat awake on her bed, clutching her grandmother's ring in one hand. Then she heard it. Iman? The voice was softer this time, almost pleading. She tried to ignore it. Go away, she thought, but then the window creaked open on its own, and a chill swept through the room. She felt a presence, warm yet terrifying, behind her. Why do you fear me? Zariel's deep voice filled the air. She spun around to see him standing there, cloaked in shadows. His glowing eyes flickered faintly, softer than before. You shouldn't be here, she said firmly, though her voice shook. I can't stay away, he admitted. Even if I tried, I would still feel you calling me. I'm not calling you, she snapped. But your soul is. He stepped closer, and though her instinct told her to run, she didn't move. Iman, they will come for you. Already they gather in the dark corners of this world, drawn by your light. Why me? She whispered. Because you are rare. The boundary between your world and mine is thin around you. That makes you powerful and vulnerable. Iman shook her head. I don't want any of this. Neither did I, he said softly. But the moment I saw you, I could no longer stay in my realm. Your soul, it calls to me like a song. Zariel extended his hand. Let me protect you. Bind yourself to me, and I will stand between you and every creature that hungers for your soul. Iman's fingers twitched. Don't trust him, child? Her grandmother's voice echoed in her memory. Jinns crave what they cannot have. But another voice, a strange soft whisper, rose inside her head. He is telling the truth. Iman, Zariel said again, his voice full of longing. I will not ask a second time. Say yes, or risk everything. The wind howled outside, and suddenly she saw shadows moving, figures with glowing red eyes circling her house. The sound of whispers filled the air, low, guttural voices speaking in a language Iman didn't understand. The wind rattled her window as the shadows outside grew thicker. Red eyes blinked in the darkness, dozens of them surrounding the house. Iman stumbled backward, her heart pounding in her chest. What are they? She cried, staring at the figures moving like black smoke. They are ghoul jinn, Zariel said grimly, stepping closer to her. Hungry spirits that feed on light, and they've come for you. Why? Because your soul burns brighter than any humans I've ever seen. Them, you're not a girl. Your power, life, everything they crave. The air grew heavier as the creatures outside pressed closer. Their whispers turned into shrieks, and suddenly a clawed hand slammed against the glass of her window, cracking it. Iman screamed. Zariel's eyes flared brighter, glowing like twin flames. "Stay behind me." Before she could react, he raised both hands. Black fire erupted from his palms, spiraling around them and forming a glowing circle on the floor. The fire hissed and crackled, but strangely, it didn't burn her. "This is a warding circle," Zariel said quickly. "They can't cross it, but the protection won't last forever unless—" "Unless what?" "Unless you bind yourself to me," he said, his voice deep and urgent. "Say the words, Iman. Invite me into your soul. Let me protect you." Iman's hands trembled. "And if I don't? They'll tear this house apart. And then?" Zariel's jaw tightened. "They'll drag you into their realm." As if on cue, the window shattered with a deafening crash. A ghoul jinn lunged through the opening, its body a swirling mass of black mist and glowing red eyes. Its clawed hands reached for Iman. "No!" Zariel roared. He raised his arm, and a spear of black fire shot forward, striking the creature in the chest. It screamed, the sound like nails on metal, and dissolved into smoke. But more were coming. Iman's grandmother burst into the room, clutching a Quran tightly. "Stay in the circle," she cried. "Don't listen to him, Iman. I warned you. Jinn are treacherous." "Daddy, they're coming!" Iman screamed, tears streaming down her face. Her grandmother began reciting verses loudly, her voice shaking as the shadows screamed in anger. Some of the ghoul jinn flinched but didn't retreat. Zariel's voice was calm but forceful. "She doesn't have enough power to stop them. But I do. Trust me, Iman. Bind yourself to me, and I swear on my existence, I will destroy them all." Iman's chest heaved as she looked between her grandmother and the jinn. The air crackled with energy. "Don't do it," her grandmother cried. "If you let him in, he'll own your soul." "Iman," Zariel said softly, stepping closer. "Look at me. Do you feel it? This connection between us? That's real, and I would rather die than let them take you." The ghoul jinn shrieked again, slamming against the invisible barrier of the circle. Cracks began to spread across the floor. "You have to decide," Zariel said. "Now." Iman closed her eyes, her heart racing. She could still feel the pull, the strange warmth in her chest every time Zariel was near. "Say the words, Iman," Zariel urged. "I accept you. Bind us together." The circle shook violently. The ghoul jinn were almost inside. "Iman," her grandmother shouted. "Please," Zariel whispered. "Choose me." The house trembled, as if the earth itself had come alive. The air was thick with smoke and whispers, the sound of claws scraping against the windows, and the guttural growls of the ghoul jinn outside. Iman stood frozen in the center of the glowing circle, her grandmother clutching her arm tightly. Zariel's amber eyes burned into her soul as he extended his hand toward her. "Say it," Zariel urged, his voice deep and commanding. "Say the words and I'll protect you. I'll protect everything you love." "Don't listen to him," her grandmother screamed over the chaos. "If you bind with him, he will never let you go. He'll consume you." Iman's chest felt as though it was being crushed. The shadows pressed closer. Red eyes blinked all around her. The circle's flames flickered weakly, its light failing. "Iman," Zariel's voice softened. "You're running out of time." The floor cracked under the force of the ghoul jinn's shrieks. One clawed hand broke through the barrier, swiping at her ankle. Iman gasped. "Zariel, say it." "All right," she screamed, tears streaming down her face. "I accept you. Bind us together." The words hung in the air like lightning. Zariel's eyes flared with golden light. His voice echoed through the house, deep and ancient, carrying power beyond human comprehension. "As you have spoken, so it shall be. By fire, by shadow, by soul, I bind myself to you, Iman." The flames around the circle shot up like a roaring inferno. Iman felt heat rush through her veins, but it didn't burn. Instead, it filled her with a strange warmth, powerful and terrifying. The ghoul jinn screamed in unison, their red eyes dimming. Zariel's form shimmered and shifted. His shadowy cloak melted away, revealing his true shape. His skin was pale like moonlight, his hair a cascade of black silk. But his eyes, they weren't just glowing anymore. They were fire, alive and pulsing. "You are mine now," Zariel whispered, his voice softer but no less intense. "And I am yours." Iman felt a pull in her chest, as if an invisible thread tied her heart to his. "No," her grandmother wailed. She stumbled backward, clutching her prayer beads. "You don't understand what you've done, child. He'll never release you now." The ghoul Jinn lunged at the circle, but Zariel raised his hand. Black flames erupted from his palm, forming a massive spear of fire. "Leave," he commanded, his voice shaking the walls. "She is under my protection." The ghoul Jinn hissed and screeched, their smoky bodies writhing in agony as the fire tore through them. One by one, they disintegrated into ash, their shrieks fading into silence. Iman stared in awe and terror as the last of the creatures vanished. The air grew still. The circle's flames dimmed, leaving only the faint scent of smoke and sandalwood. Iman fell to her knees, clutching her chest where she felt the bond burning like an ember. Zariel knelt beside her. "It's done," he murmured. "No one can harm you now." But her grandmother's voice cut through the silence like a knife. "You fool," she spat, her eyes wild with anger and fear. "Do you even know what he is? He's not just any jinn. He's—" "Enough," Zariel growled, his glowing eyes snapping toward her. Iman looked between them. "What are you hiding from me?" Zariel's jaw tightened. "You'll know soon enough. Tell me now." But before he could speak, a deep rumble echoed from the sky. Thunder boomed as the wind outside roared to life again. "They've found us," Zariel said darkly. "The elders of my realm. They'll come for you, Iman, because you've bonded with me." The night air was thick and heavy, as though the sky itself was holding its breath. Iman clutched her chest, feeling the strange warmth of the bond pulsing inside her like a second heartbeat. Zariel stood beside her, his glowing eyes fixed on the horizon, his expression hard and unreadable. "What's happening?" Iman asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. "They're coming," Zariel said flatly. "The elders of my realm. They've sensed the bond." "Why would they care?" "Because what we've done, it's forbidden." Her grandmother gasped behind them, still clutching her prayer beads. "I told you," she hissed. "You've tied yourself to a creature that isn't meant to love. They will destroy you both." Iman turned on Zariel. "Is that true? What haven't you told me?" Zariel's jaw tightened. "You need to trust me." But before she could press him, the ground shook violently. A low rumble echoed through the air, and the lights in the house flickered before going out completely. Then she saw them, figures emerging from the shadows outside, towering, faceless beings cloaked in black mist, their eyes glowing like molten gold. The air around them shimmered with raw power, and the earth itself seemed to bow beneath their presence. "The elders," Zariel said grimly. "Stay behind me." The tallest of the figures stepped forward, its voice deep and ancient, like the sound of 1,000 winds speaking as one. "Zariel, son of fire, you have broken the sacred law." "I have protected her," Zariel replied, his voice firm. "She is under my bond now. You have no claim over her." "She is human," the elder thundered. "Their world is not meant to merge with ours. For binding your soul to hers, you will be punished." Iman felt her knees weaken. "What does that mean?" she asked in a small voice. "It means they'll destroy me," Zariel said softly, never taking his eyes off the elders. "And then they'll take you." "No," Iman whispered. "They can't." "She carries your mark," another elder hissed. "She is tainted by your darkness. She must be purified." Iman's grandmother stepped forward, her voice trembling. "Take him if you must, but spare my granddaughter." But Zariel raised his hand. "No. If they try to take her, they'll have to kill me first." The ground cracked as one of the elders raised a massive clawed hand, sending a wave of black energy hurtling towards Zariel. "Get down," Zariel shouted, throwing his arms around Iman and shielding her with his body. The blast struck him squarely in the back, sending him crashing into the wall. "Zariel!" Iman screamed, but Zariel rose slowly, black fire coiling around his arms. His eyes burned brighter than ever. "You will not take her from me." He hurled a sphere of searing flame at the nearest elder, striking it in the chest. The creature let out a deafening roar, stumbling back as smoke curled from its body. The other elders advanced, their claws slicing through the air, tearing apart the room around them. Iman, Zariel shouted over the chaos. I can't hold them all off. You have to break the bond. What? She cried. Break it, say the words, and you'll be free. They'll stop hunting you. But as she looked into Zariel's eyes, glowing, pained and desperate, her heart clenched. What happens to you if I break it? She asked, her voice shaking. I'll be gone, Zariel admitted. The bond keeps me here. Without it, they'll drag me back to the realm of shadows and destroy me. Tears streamed down Iman's face. There has to be another way. There isn't, Zariel roared as he deflected another blast of dark energy. Iman, please. Save yourself. Don't listen to him, her grandmother cried. Break it now. But Iman's hands trembled as she pressed them to her chest, feeling the faint glow of the bond. I can't, she whispered. Why? Zariel shouted. Because I don't want you to go. Zariel froze, his eyes softening even as the battle raged around them. Iman, but the tallest elder's voice boomed through the house. Enough. If she will not break the bond, then we will destroy you both. They raised their claws, energy crackling. Iman took a deep breath, then let them try. The house was in ruins. The walls cracked, the floor splintered, and the air burned with the scent of smoke and magic. Iman clung to Zariel's hand as the towering elders loomed over them, their golden eyes blazing with fury. You have defied the laws of realms, the tallest elder roared. For that, you will both perish. I won't let you touch her, Zariel growled, black flames spiraling from his arms. His once calm and elegant demeanor was gone. Now he was all fire and fury, a creature willing to burn the universe for her. Zariel, Iman whispered, clutching her chest where the bond pulsed like a living flame. They're too strong. What do we do? He turned to her, his glowing amber eyes softening for the briefest moment. There's only one way now. What is it? I can destroy them. All of them. But it will cost me everything. No, she cried. There has to be another way. We can run. Hide. They'll find you. They'll never stop hunting you as long as I exist. Then I'll fight with you, she said fiercely. Zariel's lips curved into the faintest, saddest smile. I knew you'd say that. He reached out, brushing his fingers across her cheek. His touch was warm, filled with an otherworldly energy that made her heart ache. I wasn't supposed to feel this way, he murmured. Jinn don't love. Not truly. But you changed me. Tears filled Iman's eyes. And you changed me too. The elders raised their claws, dark energy swirling in their palms. Enough of this, one hissed. End them now. But before they could strike, Zariel stepped in front of Iman, his body radiating with blinding fire. Iman, listen to me, he said urgently. If I unleash my full power, the bond will break. You'll be safe, but I'll fade. I'll cease to exist. No, she cried, grabbing his arm. I won't let you. He cupped her face in his hands, his glowing eyes locked on hers. You're stronger than you know. Live for me, please, Zariel. But he silenced her with a kiss, soft, fiery, and filled with everything he couldn't put into words. For a moment, time itself seemed to stop. When he pulled away, his voice was barely a whisper. Goodbye, my light. Zariel turned to face the elders, his body blazing like a black sun. The air shook with raw power. You wanted my destruction, he said, his voice echoing like thunder. Then take it. He raised his arms, and a wave of searing black fire exploded outward, engulfing the elders. They shrieked as the flames devoured them, their massive forms disintegrating into ash. But as the last of them faded, Iman saw Zariel's body begin to crumble too. No, she screamed, running to him. Don't leave me. He turned to her one last time, his eyes dimming but still warm. I'll always be with you, he whispered. In your dreams, in the fire of your soul. And then he was gone. The room fell silent, the air stilled. All that remained of Zariel was a faint warmth in Iman's chest, like the last ember of a dying flame. Months passed. The house was rebuilt, the village quiet once more, but Iman could still feel him sometimes, in the whisper of the wind, in the glow of candlelight, in the quiet moments between dreams and waking. And at night, when she closed her eyes, she swore she could hear his voice. You were my light and I was your shadow. We were never meant to be, but still we were. Iman touched the silver pendant around her neck, now warm as if holding a piece of his essence. You'll never fade, she whispered. Not from me. And as she looked out at the stars, one seemed to shine brighter than the rest, as though Zariel was still watching, still protecting, still loving her from beyond the realms.